to Armchair Safari, the daily stream where I look up some cool design online and we learn from it to become better designers. We try to look at what's good, what's bad, and if this works for an actual use case. But not today. Today, we're going to learn something very specific. Today, we're going to learn how to optically center things. And we're going to do this because I saw a designer ask about this on Twitter, and another designer responded with this really good clip from a WWDC video from Apple about visually centering elements in the dynamic island, which is the notification cutout thing on iPhone 14s, 15s, and 16s. Well, let's just look at the video and then we'll talk about it. So here we go. Pensiables, whatever, asks, can someone explain what optically centering is? I want to learn, but all I get is machines or WTV. And Icon Redesign responds, Hear from the father of the modern smartphone interface, Chan K. So Chan K works at Apple, and he's here to describe to us in a 23-second clip how to optically center something. I don't think you can hear this, but it is subtitled, so you can read along, and I will also be describing it as we go. So let's just make sure you see it. There we go. And center, there we go. This also applies to non-rounded shapes. The visual mass, or centroid of the shape, should nestle inside the walls on an island nicely. A good trick to visualize this is to blur the object and make sure the resultant shape is as concentric as possible towards the outer border. This will make sure, let me actually go back and just say again, this will make sure the object feels comfortable within the dynamic island as possible. All right, and here we go, looping. So what he's saying here is for the dynamic island, which means for any element where you're dealing with margins and paddings, you want to optically center something, which is not the same as mathematically centering something. You want it to feel centered, not be centered. What you can do is first you can define what is the supposed padding around things, and then look at the thing you want to place there, blur it, or squint at it if you want to do it completely visually or completely optically. You blur it, then you position it, and then you unblur it. And it will be very nicely optically centered. This works with anything. It can be a block, it can be a text, it can be a complex figure, it doesn't matter. This is why it's so nice to do. So this also really works if you want to look at visual hierarchy. If you have a huge design and a lot of elements on it, and you want to see like what actually pops out and in what order, just squint at it and look at like what is the most obvious thing for you to see. It might be a little bit weird. This is similar to something we did in the early 2000s called drunk testing, when instead of user testing, we got someone who was sort of, actually knew what the service was about, a little drunk, and sat them down to try it. This is similar, because what we're approximating here is we're removing some of your normal faculties so you'll get closer to just a vivid experience. In this case, it works out really, really nicely. And I mean, if you've seen the dynamic island designs, they look freaking awesome. So I suspect this is going to work really, really well as a rule of thumb. So today we learned how to optically center something from Apple, squint at it, or blur it, and make sure that it fits within the inner border of the element that you're positioning it within. Now, of course, this means that the border itself has to be defined, but you are defining a border, right? You do have some sort of padding, right? Anyway, that's it from Armchair Safari for today. If you have a great design and you want us to look at it, please just send it over. As usual, the original post is in the description below or in the next post. Thank you so much for today. Remember to optically center your stuff, and see you tomorrow.